Hey everybody, welcome to a Thursday edition of Box Eats. Thanks for joining the show. I appreciate you. My name is Frank Holder. I'm here with Talent. I'm here with Fig. You guys have been in the comedy game for a very long time. You guys have seen them in Def Comedy Jam. You've seen them on comedy tours. You've seen them on comedy shows. You've seen them in anything related to comedy, and now you're going to watch them on a sports comedy show, which is a great thing. Gentlemen, how you doing this morning?
Everything is good, man. Y'all looking good over there, man. Two light-skinned brothers.
And you in the middle, looking like a cookie.
Trying to do what we do.
I'm in the middle. We reverse Oreos.
Right. So now let's get ready to jump into the show because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. So let me just first talk about this and say, I always do a COVID report. I start off the show with the COVID report so we can get that out the way. So the first thing is the NBA now has, of course, we said yesterday the NBA got sprinkled with some COVID stuff, but this morning, 48 NBA players tested positive out of 546 players of all the players who reported yesterday to the teams and everything else. So 48 players tested positive. Well, that's going to mess up some people's schedule and things like that. And of course, BYU in college football, and BYU, they're supposed to play Carolina Coastal. They're going to play Carolina Coastal because the Liberty was supposed to play, but Liberty, the entire team ended up getting COVID positive. So they had to reschedule and put another team in because college football is not stopping for nobody either. They're like following behind the NFL. They're not.
So you said the NFL 48 tested positive?
No, the NBA.
NBA.
Oh, the NBA?
Yeah.
That gives a new meaning for the first 48.
And in Michigan game finally got canceled because Michigan game versus Maryland got canceled. So they decided to cancel the entire game. They're supposed to play Maryland. They moved that game. But now the thing I want to talk about, we had a conversation yesterday. You know this is coming, right? I'm getting ready to talk to both of y'all because I was Nostradamus yesterday. I told you both within 48 hours, Anthony Davis is going to sign something. And we did I not say that? Y'all make
You did say that.
Making fun of my Pelican beef, but I was telling you all, listen, this is what's going to happen. LeBron going to get squared away first, and then Anthony Davis is going to get signed away. And then the other big story is Russell Westbrook got traded. But we're going to talk about the Russell Westbrook trade in just a second. But let's talk about Anthony Davis because I think the Anthony Davis deal and the way the deal is structured is NBA news all by itself. Now, in the NBA world, you got a 5-year contract. He's able, after this year, to restructure his deal after this year to get max out again. And then after next year, he's able to restructure his deal and max out again. So he has a 3-year in the first 3 years in this contract, he's able to restructure and max out for the next 3 years. Now, is Rich Paul a beast talent or what?
Oh yeah, that's beast mode negotiation right there. But it makes sense when you look at the LeBron situation next to it, because all the money that he took for the 2-year deal, you have to do it that way. For him to maximize his potential, you had to do it that way. You couldn't do both straight up. You know what I mean? That money don't exist like that. But if you structure it like this, hey, it's kind of like saying you're taking less, but you're not taking less in the long run.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, Fig, I'll say this. I think they structured that deal all the time because they did not want him to take the short money deal because they were scared he would leave and potentially opt out and go to New York. Like he might have said it might have opted out. So talent was good, right, in a certain sense because they were nervous about the New York possibility because New York was ready to front and put a lot of money on the table. So I can't say he was completely off. But, like I said, the potential to be able to keep having his contract, keep continuing to max out is the reason why I think they structured that deal the way they did with Anthony Davis. What you think, Fig?
First off, I think you were right when you said that they were scared. That was like a scared contract because although the Knicks are a losing franchise, we got more money than the Lakers. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm trying to say? The Knicks got more money than the Lakers, and Rich Paul went in there and he threw down the gauntlet and said, I'm looking for dead presidents to represent me.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, you got to pay the man. You understand what I'm saying? This dude is top 3 in the NBA, and he needs to be paid like it.
Yeah.
And it's just as simple as that. LeBron, what did he sign for? 52?
Yeah, 2 years.
No, 85. 85.
2 years. 85.
2 years.
85. Now,
for 2 years.
2 years, 85, right? Let's look at the deal structure. 2 years, 85. If LeBron is done in 2 years, and AD, he obviously can again opt again and max out his deal. He also can opt out the contract completely. So, do you think that AD will fulfill his 5-year contract with Lakers, or do you think he will opt out when LeBron leaves, or do you think AD will stay in the LA and make LA his home for the next 5? What do you think?
I think if they treat him good, he's staying, because what happens is right now he's sharing the city with LeBron. You're sharing the Laker nation with LeBron. I think that when LeBron leaves, you become the man, so to speak. So it's something to be said for that, to be running, of all cities, LA. It's a big city. You look at all the greats, you look at the Kareems, you look at the Magic Johnsons, you want to run LA. 2 cities you want to run is LA and New York. I don't care who you are. You would love to be that guy. So I think that depending on how they treat him in 2 years, let's say LeBron's leaving in 2 years, depending on how they treat him, he will take that baton and restructure and max out that third time and be great. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it depends on how they treat him, because stranger things have happened.
Right. I'll say this. I wouldn't be surprised if he opted out in 2 years and left and went to New York. And I'll tell you why, Fig. I'll tell you why. Because the way this deal he just signed is structured, he has to be maxed out and the highest paid player all the time. Right now, he is the highest paid Laker of all time. And he is able to max out every single year. So I think if he gets another NBA championship and he seems like the team might not win because another team gets better, I think he's chasing the money, Fig. What you think?
It's a possibility. Here's the thing. If you can make the most money in LA, then there's no reason to leave. But I don't think, look, like you said, Talent said, LA is a city where you want to be the man. New York is a city where you want to be the man. But neither one of them are cities where you want to be the man all by yourself. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't remember Kareem was in LA by himself before Magic came, and it was a horrible situation because they wasn't winning. There's a lot of pressure. As great as Kareem was, there was a lot of pressure on him to win. And before Magic got there, none of that was happening. Magic was the spark, you know what I mean, to regenerate that organization into its winning ways. So I think if LeBron leaves and the Lakers are not putting people in place to surround AD and put them in a winning situation, I think he could bail.
Okay, now let's look at the deal from another side. The last question about the Lakers. Let's look at the deal from the other side of this. Chris Paul put together the deal. Chris Paul basically had a lot of things to structure, and he had a lot of handprint on the Lakers the last 2 years. On the flip side of everything else right now,
Rich Paul.
Rich Paul.
Rich Paul, that's what I meant. I'm sorry, Rich Paul.
I'm about to say Chris Paul, nice.
How do you think everybody? How do you think everybody's in all of the ages and everything else? How do you think they're looking at him, and how you think they're feeling right now? Because look at what he did. He was able to structure a deal for his clients, and he doesn't have the pedigree of the rest of obviously the big known, agents and everything else. So how do you think that's reflecting with all the other agents, you know what I mean, all across? I
don't think they care about the deal making and the deal cutting. In that line of work, I think in that profession, all you worried about is who got the best players. You're only as good as the best players you're dealing to the amount of money that an agent can make, or even a lawyer. So he has the best players right now. You know what I mean? And that's that. If there's any envious, animosity from an agent to an agent, it's because of that. It's not because any one of them can sit down, because all they've been doing over the years is watching each other structure deals, and they're basing the next deal off of that deal. How can we get better? Well, he did 3 years, let's get 4. He did 4, let's get 5. I think the animosity, if any, would be because, damn, you got this player, and that player, his roster. What agent don't want the best players?
Right. I'll say this with you right now on the record, Talent. I completely disagree with you, just to say that. I think right now the agents have a whole bunch of animosity, against Mr. Paul because of one factor. He doesn't have the pedigree like the rest of them. He didn't go to college and he didn't get a master's degree and he didn't do all that. I think they have a whole bunch of – no, he didn't. I don't think he doesn't have a whole big roster. And then he's got the best roster. He got LeBron. He got AD. I mean, he's got a lot of great players on his thing right now, and he doesn't have the pedigree.
Yeah,
like
but the power again, Frank, you got to understand the power is not in college and how much learning you got. The power's in the powers in the players. I think any animosity, you're more mad that you don't have LeBron and you don't have AD and you don't have this one, because that's with those guys. The deal making is boundless.
No, I agree with that statement. I'm just saying, Fig, you can agree with me or disagree. I'm just saying that I think the rest of the agents are angry and have animosity against him because not only does he not have the pedigree, he put together the best Laker contract in history for his client, and he doesn't have a master's degree. He's not. Most agents, 99% of the agents are lawyers. 99% of them. He's not an attorney. He didn't go to law school. Look what he did. You know what I mean? So if I'm an agent and I'm sitting there, not only do I have some sort of animosity, I'm real jealous about that and say, wow, how did this dude put together the best deal for his client in Laker history? How do you do that? That's what that's why I think that they're feeling like that right now. And not to mention, he's one of the only black agents in the business. I'll throw that little caveat out there too. Word for the day, caveat. Bing, throw that out there.
Hey, you just hit the nail on the head. You took the words out of my mouth. Let's address the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is the jealousy is because of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where all the jealousy comes in. It's not about whether you're qualified and all that stuff like that. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's like he jumped the line, and they like, yo, man, how you get the
Can I just say that when you light skin and you do this, it don't have the same, like. When a person goes because of this,
light skin and the cops pull you over, it still works the exact same way. That's all. Go to the bank and ask for a loan. It's the same thing. I'm trying to
because of this stuff. Because you can't do this.
It's the same thing. But yeah, man. At the end of the day, it's still the same, man. They don't like the fact that this young black kid came in, he skipped the line, and it's because of LeBron put him in a position to be able to do that. And they don't like it. It's jealousy. It's always.
But you just said what I said. It's the play. Okay, since you guys don't believe me, let's say Rich Paul has 3 or 4 players who are bench riders or barely making it to the league. Nobody's mad at him. And he's not going to be able to structure these kind of deals because of the worth of the player. But now you give him AD, you give him LeBron, the #1 poster child for the NBA. If I'm an agent or a lawyer, I don't care who I am, and I've been doing this, and I went to school and I got a degree. I'm pissed at that fact because I know you ain't better than me because of any other reason than you got the top of the crop.
And that's what I'm saying. I think I'm sorry, Fig. I think it's a combination of both. Fig, the floor is yours. I think it's a combination of both. You know what I mean?
No,
I just think that. Hold on, 1 second, Fig. I just think this real quick. I just think that the deal cutting is not as deep and intricate as you make it to be. I think, like I said in the beginning, when you watch deals being cut, all you got to do is add and take away to get to the biggest deal.
Fig, floor is yours.
That's all.
I think at the end of the day, look, it's not rocket science on how to cut a deal. You understand? You can have lawyers. The best negotiator in the world doesn't necessarily have to have a law degree. I mean, it's business. You can negotiate and still have a lawyer to go over all of the fine details and stuff like that. The best lawyers got paralegals that do all of their research and then hand it to them spoon-fed, and then the lawyers go out and argue what the paralegal did. So at the end of the day, do you really need a law degree to make a deal with an NBA team? No. You get a team behind you. It's just like, it's silly. The bottom line is that they just jealous because this young black kid skipped the line, and this young black kid skipped the line. It works in so many different places the exact same way. It's not just the NBA, it's the NFL, it's everywhere because this country. They always the elephant in the room is always black and white. If this was a white dude, nobody would be saying anything.
You know what? Yeah, you're right about that point. You know what? I think we all are right in some sense. I think it's a bits and pieces of all the stuff that we just mentioned. You know what I mean?
I do have to ask a question. Now, I could be wrong. I thought when LeBron James first got his deal, he told all of his boys, Rich Paul being one of them, and Maverick, that he wanted them to do certain things so they could be qualified to come in and do the things that they're doing now. So when you say Rich Paul doesn't have this or he didn't have that, I actually thought that Rich Paul did go to school and get some kind of degree to be able to do what he's doing now.
What Rich Paul did was he interned at an agency, and when he interned at the agency, he learned how to do the agency work. That's what he did.
Okay.
You know? And then he was trying to become an agent after he did some internship because he came in with LeBron and everything else. Now, I'll double check to make sure he didn't get his law degree, but I'm willing to bet $1,000 he didn't get a law degree. You know, and while he was under his internship, the agents were telling him the whole time, you need to go to school to get your thing to do what we do. You know what I mean? But he still jumped in front of the line and still was able to work out some deals because he's like, I'll do that. Meanwhile, LeBron is still new in the league and everything. He says, you know what, I want to be an agent. LeBron ends up exploding the NBA, and the rest is history. You know, so
I think those things. Listen, I think the things they put in front of us a lot of times, again, is just the carrot to get you to chase. Because a lot of times after you grab the carrot, then you still don't get the position that you want. You say, oh, you got to go get a law degree. Then you go get the law degree, and then you're like, well,
yeah, exactly.
You know, you gotta pay your dues. Yeah, like,
exactly,
come on, man.
Exactly. And he started out with LeBron, and he ended up collecting. You know, as LeBron got better and better, he ended up collecting more and more, you know, clients. And now he's the most powerful agent and one of the most powerful agents of all time. We all know. Remember how David Falk had Michael Jordan? Everybody was like, "Yo, he got Michael Jordan," and everybody else was like, "He didn't even need any other," but he did. But he didn't need anybody because he had Michael Jordan. But he had a roster too. Guess what? Rich Paul is David Falk now without the degree. So there we are. Let's talk about the next thing. Let's talk about the next thing. Okay, we got to talk about my man Russell Westbrook. He got traded yesterday, and I was throwing out there the possibility where there'd be big trades before, and I knew there was going to be. I thought it was going to be James Harden before that fact, but we'll get into that in a second. Talent, are you looking at this from a perspective of saying Russell Westbrook came up? John Wall came up. Like, what's your thought process on the trade overall? Because when the news dropped last night, when you heard it, Russell Westbrook to Washington, John Wall to Houston, did you think? Not even put words in your mouth. What was the first thing you thought? Because the first thing I thought was that Washington just fleeced Houston. That's what I thought.
Well, you know damn well Russell Westbrook didn't come up. Matter of fact, they turned him back into the Bullets. You know, you got Westbrook. You got to go back to the Bullets. Washington. I mean, they're still in the same no man's land they were in. Now, Houston came up. John Wall came up because you went to a team that's kind of put together very well with a lot of pieces that, you know, have always been contenders for the last, I don't know how many years, you know, Harden been over there. They've been contenders. One team we haven't seen fall all the way off is Houston. Mm-hmm. You know, Houston's been staying in contention. So for John Wall, who's a very competitive player, that's dope for him. He came up. Houston came up. Washington remains to be seen because hopefully that's just a piece of a pie that they're putting together.
Well, Talent, I'll say this. People can flip that and easily say, you know what? Bradley Beal now must be really happy because, you know, John Wall was hogging the ball and Russell is going to be the dude. You know what I mean? He could. Listen, I'm just saying people could say that. You know, I think that they got fleeced. But what you think, Fig? I don't like, honestly, if I'm a Washington Wizards fan right now, I don't like that trade at all. Because John Wall, he didn't give you a good full season in 3 years? He's been injured all the time. But he has extreme potential. If he's healthy, he's gonna be a beast. And then you traded him. But I don't know, Fig. What do you think?
I think it's actually the opposite. Because I thought Russell Westbrook, if mistake, you know, forgive me, wasn't he the same dude that averaged a triple-double for 3 years in a row?
Mm-hmm.
And John Wall being injured. I mean, look, neither one of them shoots the three very well. They both have to go to the basket. The only difference is Russell Westbrook is healthy. And I mean, he had an injury here and there, but nothing as debilitating as John Wall. You don't even know where John Wall is going to be. John Wall still does not shoot the three-pointer very well. He still needs to get to the basket. And if he's on the team in Houston with James Harden is going to hold the ball most of the time. And last but not least, John Wall went to the West. The West is still deeper than the East. You still got you got the Lakers, you got the Clippers, you got Denver, you got Dallas, you got Golden State. I mean, and if San Antonio ever comes back, it's like, my God, what is Houston going to do? John Wall is going to be like, yo, man, let me get back to the East because the West is full of monsters.
Yeah, but if you're a Washington Wizards fan right now, let's be honest, Big. If you're a Washington Wizards fan right now, or talent, either one of y'all could jump in this one. I think Russell Westbrook has been declining. I don't think he shoots as well as he did. I think he's a cancer on a team. And maybe it's just because I'm a Celtics fan. I'm looking at it from very far, far away. But when he went to Houston, he didn't make Houston better. Anybody you tell me that he made Houston better when he went there? Matter of fact, you could really argue he made him worse. You know what I mean? He's a great scorer, but you could argue and say he made him worse.
I would give that. I would put most of that on D'Antoni, and I'm going to tell you why. Or Daryl Morey. So you get rid of Clint Capella, and then you tell me small ball is going to win, and you add Russell Westbrook, who is not a 3-point shooter. The way that the small ball worked is that you had exceptional 3-point shooters in Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. That's the way the small ball worked. I mean, you got James Harden, but Russell Westbrook ain't neither one of them dudes.
Okay,
if you got another 3-point shooter, then possibly you can mimic what Golden State did. That's not going to work with Russell Westbrook and no big man. None.
Okay. There you go. And on that note, Russell Westbrook goes to Washington. You know what I mean? They still play a different style of what he's used to playing. Also, he left Houston. They play one style. They really play shoot first and then pass later. Washington plays pass the ball. Right, talent? If I'm wrong, correct.
Right, but let me say this about Fig's comment on East or West. It don't matter East or West as an individual, Fig. You still got to play one team one day at a time. You know what I mean? So it's not like you go West and you're taking on 12 dope teams. You still got to play one at a time. So all I'm saying is, I just think that you ain't got to ever worry about East or West with John Wall. It goes back to what Frank said. If you got a healthy John Wall, bro, you got a banger of a trade for your team.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm not going against John Wall's talent, but I'm just saying, like, he's got to contend against better teams. You know what I mean? It's going to be a harder road to win in the West than it is in the East. That's all I'm saying. And look, Russell Westbrook is going back, like his coach, the coach of the Wizards is the same coach I believe he had when he was in OKC, and they did very well.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the next thing that, when I read this and I saw it late last night, if I was a Clippers fan, I'd be fuming. Now, news broke out last night, right? That Paul George, he sat down with In the Smoke. I forgot the podcast, the name of the podcast, All the Smoke podcast. And he literally said something along the lines of that they didn't make proper adjustments as they should have when they were going through the, thing. And that's the reason why they lost. And he said a couple of other statements and everything else, but he literally threw Doc Rivers under the bus, and the bus rolled over him a couple times. And I was just shocked that a player of his caliber will come out and say a certain thing like that, blaming everything and everybody except himself. Now, talent, tell me if I'm wrong, but did not Paul George disappear in the playoffs?
Oh, absolutely. He had his the precious state.
Yeah.
He had that. He went into his anxiety and depression and that mode. By that time, man, remember he had missed a nice little chunk of games, and everybody's like, "Where's Paul George?" You know what I mean? So, but that always happens, man. It's like a corporation or a warehouse job or anything. When people leave or people get fired, if something bad happened right before that person get fired, that's the whole point of firing you. So they put the heat on you. You leave in place what you think is not the problem. You get out of place what you think is the problem. So everybody's just riding the script right now. There's a script right now that if anybody asks, it's Doc Rivers' fault.
Okay, now, everything you said is 100% right. But again, Fig, if I'm a Clippers fan, I'm sitting there looking at this like Doc Rivers drew up some plays that would give you the ball so you could shoot the ball, and you missed everything. You couldn't even throw the ball in the ocean. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, you kept shooting. We remember Game 7, right? We saw the other team coming, and Paul George kept shooting and missing, and he blamed Doc Rivers. I don't know, man. Right now, I'm thinking, Fig. I'm thank God I'm not a Clippers fan, because I would be like, how in the world you have the audacity to say what you're saying, bro? That's so uncool.
It is a couple things. One, I want to know, and here's another word for the day: absolve. How are we going to absolve Kawhi Leonard, who put the pressure on the Clippers to say, if you don't get Paul George, I'm going to the Lakers? Then number two, Paul George gets there and he stinks up the place. He doesn't play up to his potential. He plays horribly in the playoffs, absolutely horrible. And then when you have your meltdown, you go to this guy, Doc Rivers, the coach, and you have a heart-to-heart and talk to him so that you can get your head right and get back in the game. And then you still play horribly. And then when Doc Rivers finally gets fired, because somebody got to fall on the sword, it's got to be the coach. You're not getting rid of the players. Doc Rivers falls on the sword. And then when he's gone, you're going to throw Doc Rivers under the bus? Like, I'm just saying, was Doc Rivers going to put on a Clippers uniform and go out there and do your job for you? At the end of the day, you're a ball player, and you didn't play anywhere near your potential. Like, absolutely nowhere near your potential. And you got carte blanche when you got there. That is, man, that is horrible that Paul George would do something like that. It's absolutely horrible. And man, I mean, a lot of people lost respect for Paul George according to the way he played. Now I'm losing respect for him because of his character and the way that you threw somebody under the bus that actually helped you when you was at your weakest moment. That's horrible.
I will even top that and say, not only did he do all that and everything else, he spoke to Matt Barnes and everything else, and the tone he was talking to him, talent, the tone he was taking, everything else. He not only, I mean, it's like Doc Rivers stole something from him, man. It was like Doc Rivers, if we all know, Doc Rivers will lie down on the, in front of a train for any of his plays. He's been doing that ever since he's been a coach. So why you do that to Doc Rivers, man? And I'm not the biggest 100% Doc Rivers fan in the world. So I don't want that to come across as that. But Doc Rivers will go out and about for his players. So Paul George sitting down with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, they sitting in kicking it. Like, yeah, man, he didn't do this and he didn't make adjustments. I watched the game. I know you watched the game. I saw him make adjustments.
You did the same people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you go back to Doc Rivers, all he gonna say is, you're right. I didn't make the right adjustments because I called the plays for you to shoot and you missed all that shit. I'll never do that again.
And I love Doc. Let me tell you something. I love Doc Rivers all the way back when he played for the Knicks as the point guard. What I mean? I love Doc all the way back from there. I always thought that he was he's always an intelligent dude. He's smart. And let's not mistake the fact that these guys being in that bubble during the pandemic was a whole different world, and it was a lot of pressure. Some people did well, and some people did really bad. You know what I mean? And clearly, Paul George didn't do very well in the bubble in that type of situation. And some players actually thrived. Some players actually came to prominence in the bubble. Guys that we wasn't even looking at when they played in the bubble, this just like came up and was just like they were straight balled out. So I mean, the last thing in the world I want to seem as though I'm coming down on a dude who had mental issues, because that can happen to anybody, and I'm not attacking him for that. But I just don't like the way that he did it.
Well, maybe he's having mental issues. Maybe this is part of the mental issues.
That's a good point. That's a great point. I mean, you can't even doubt that, because maybe he's still having side effects, and maybe he's getting ready to go back to the NBA season, because they're getting ready to go back in the bubble. You know what I mean? That's getting ready to happen. All the players getting ready to do this, and he's looking at it like, so he's probably setting down the path of saying, in case I don't do well this year, maybe he's laying the brickwork for. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, let me ask you this question. All right, let's get off that subject. Let me ask you this question: does James Harden get traded now? Because everybody out. Half of his wish list is gone. Does James Harden get out of there now?
Probably so. They're trying their darndest to. Him and his people trying their best to get out of there. But who knows? Maybe this trade made him happy again for at least another year to see if this works. I still think that he's either at that point where he's ready to manufacture a championship with a cheat sheet and go to a team like a Golden State Warriors that's pretty stacked and ready to go, and just jump on there and ride the boat and get to the chip and get what he wants.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point. I didn't even think of it like that. What you think, Fig?
You know, he said he wanted to win. You know what I mean? But he loves the team that he's on.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. In our history, has any star player gone there? Never. Like, they've never had one big signing. You know what I mean? That is not a destination spot for stars.
Mm-hmm.
And then when your team gets rid of the players that seemingly like they could help you and get other players, I just see him like, eventually this, to be honest with you, if I were him, I would trade him this year, because after this year, he can go anywhere he go and you get nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
You get zero, zilch.
Yeah.
So if you're going to get anything at all to help yourself out, you better get rid of him this year. You better trade him this year, because next year, I think he's out of there.
Do it now. Yeah, do it now.
I think too. I think if they have even a fan, he's going to resign, they need to get rid of him. But we all know that players sit there and say, "Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do." You know what I mean? At least they go all the time. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know.
They know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, exactly. But they put you as owner and general manager. They kind of paint you in the corner. So if it was me, I would trade him. But speaking of trading, there's been talks coming out of Philly, and there's talks on Boston radio and everything else, that the Celtics are quietly looking to see what they can get for Kemba Walker, and they have had a conversation about Kemba Walker going to the Sixers. Now, Kemba Walker he is not 100%. Word is he might not even ever be 100% because of that knee. He had stem cell implant put in his knee to help him get back. He came out 2 days ago and said he's not hitting the court until he's 100% healthy. If you're the Boston Celtics right now, do you trade Kemba Walker talent?
No, I said it before. I think that's going to be one of your biggest mistakes as a Celtic. The Celtics trade Kemba Walker, man. You guys, you're going to become the revolving door of the NBA, especially with point guards. I mean, look at your last 3 point guards. Look at the tenure that they stated. They don't. You know what I mean? And you don't want to become that team. To me, in the NBA, your identity is either going to be your big guys or your small guys. Everything in between is movable and interchangeable. But the floor generals and the big guys who space the floor for you, who demand that attention on defense as well as offense, that makes your team. And if you keep doing this with them, we're not talking about no regular point guards that were just regular names coming off the bench. We're talking about marquee point guards. You guys, this will be the third one in a little bit of time you wash the house with. I don't think that's good for Boston.
I can't even disagree with that one. Fig, do you think the Celtics should trade Kemba Walker? Because he basically has a flat tire. You know, that's my analogy for the day. He got a flat tire. If he's getting a stem cell implant, injected in his knee, there's a whole lot more stuff that's wrong than what they telling everybody. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, the thing is this. You have a problem with Kemba Walker. If it was a one-off, it wouldn't be a problem. But the thing with the Celtics is their reputation is, if you get injured, we're getting rid of you. They did it with they just got rid of Gordon Hayward. Look what they did to Isaiah Thomas, who lost his sister and played through a horrific injury just to give you guys an opportunity. You get rid of him, and he never gets an opportunity to get a big payday. Kyrie was a different issue. You had some internal problems with Kyrie, but he also had an injury, and you got rid of him. Now you're going to do Kemba Walker too. The reputation is going to be, if you go to Boston Celtics, God forbid you get injured, they're gonna get rid of you, and that is a horrible reputation to have. But they're building it. I mean,
yeah, but Fig, if you're a GM,
examples.
But that's true, and everything you said was right. But Fig, if you're a GM, let's say you're the GM of the team or talent, and you're the GM of the team. Do you want to keep a player who's injured? Because if you have a player who's injured, you got to do what's best for the team. You got to get rid of these guys and then trade to get somebody who's healthy. You don't want to try to win a chip with the healthy, because you're not going to win anything with the injured player. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, but I mean, but you got to. The reality is, injuries are part of the game, Frank.
Right.
And depending on the injury, you can't just move people in and out because they get injuries. Because everybody's going to be prone to getting injured. You're in the market. You're in the business of harnessing human beings.
Mm-hmm.
That's like trading people because you have a sneeze clause. You know what I mean? We're in COVID season. So you implement the COVID sneeze clause. People are going to sneeze.
Bro, that's the best analogy I heard from you. That's the best analogy I heard from you all week. I got to bring you Rodney Perry on that one. But that was the sneeze. He said the sneeze clause. People are going to sneeze. Negro. What? Rodney Perry, man, it's that time. It's 1:35. We got to get ready to get through this. I disagree because we got to hit up our NFL picks, and we got to still talk about the Ravens.
Let's get right to it, guys. Fig unparalleled today. Did his Thug Thizzle. Fig, I believe we almost have a new segment. Fig singing the oldies. Fig is notorious for an old saying. Hit the nail on the head. You took the words out of my mouth. And, of course, my favorite, at the end of the day. Let's get right to it. Westbrook trade. Here goes. Nobody wins. Nobody wins. Nobody wins. You got John Wall, who is operating on 3 toes. Okay, mm-hmm. He's down a few toes. He's hobbled. You got Westbrook, who is also a ball hog. So that's not an upside either way. It's a lateral move for both guys, and 2 teams that have failed to hit the mark time and time again. I mean, maybe the change of scenery affects them, but you got Westbrook, who was in OKC and couldn't get it done with 2 All-Stars, 2 future Hall of Famers. So is he going to be able to go to the Bullets and get it done? No. All right, let's keep it going. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. All right, let's break it down. So we know the Clippers don't work. Right?
Yeah,
we know the Clippers don't work. Okay. We've been trying to get the Clippers on for months now. The Clippers don't work. All right. And you say, well, who are the Clippers? The Clippers are Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, aka can't get right. But guess what Doc Rivers is? He's the barber. You know what? And the thing about the barber, you don't want a barber they can't see. So now you got a barber that's shaving your forehead and your eyebrows. And your clippers don't work. It's a bad recipe. So I'm not mad at Paul George for throwing Doc Rivers under the bus. I'm not mad at that. He had to do something. And he's stressed out. The man is going through a lot. James Harden. He ain't going nowhere. First of all, this is the thing about James Harden. His upside is so crazy that he's almost irreplaceable. You can't replace his points without getting a marquee guy. Guess what? Nobody wants what I told you about Houston. Houston is one of them cities that don't give a damn.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about their team. I've been there. I've been there. These guys on a playoff run, and guess who? You know who the stars on the city? The strippers. The strippers were the stars. Harden would never be in a Golden State uniform because Golden State do something that Harden don't do: play defense.
Mm-hmm.
Harden kicked one ball out of bounds in the bubble and was excited.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. That ain't gonna cut it. They ain't gonna cut it. Oh yeah. Then old Frank pulled the Boston Celtics out his ass. Boston Celtics. Here we go. They trade. I said, here we go. Oh,
I hope I get some credit for my Pelican beef I did yesterday. I hope I get some credit.
You definitely came through. You did your thug thizzle. Your thug thizzle. All right, NBA. another new segment came up, courtesy of Talent. Talent came up with a new segment. We're calling it Talent is Captain Obvious. Talent said, the NBA, they either big guys or little guys. I mean, they're one or the other, baby. Big guys and little guys. NBA.
And what about the in between, Rodney? You got
nobody's in between.
They not big.
A little. And then he followed that up with the trifecta of the analogy. He hit the analogy. You know what? People gonna sneeze, man. You know what? I love the show, man. I love it. If y'all watch the show, if you don't get the nuance of the show, the vocabulary, the caveats,
Yeah,
the constant barrage of caveats that we have, it's unparalleled, man. You guys did a wonderful job, and I'm gonna tell Fig you hit the nail on the head. You took the words out of my mouth, and my favorite. At the end of the day, you did your Tuck Bizzle today. Well done.
We're gonna talk about the NFL.
Rodney.
That's Rodney Perry. What I say, what I call I disagree. We gotta talk about the NFL. Get ready to pick our picks and all that stuff. Before we do the picks and everything else, I just want to go around real fast and ask everybody if they saw the Ravens Steelers game and how bad that game was. I'm gonna start with you, Talent, because it was real horrible. Last night. That game should have been just a forfeit because it was a horrible game. Talent, can you talk? Because right now you look like you know.
Who won?
No, come back to me.
Okay, because Talent like he running from the police with the thing all moving and everything.
Who won? Who won the game?
Steelers won the game, man, but they played horrible. It was like one of the worst Steelers. It was one of the worst 10-0 games I've ever seen a 10-0 team play. I've never seen a team that's 10-0 play that bad. And the Ravens didn't even have everybody, which made it even worse. The Raiders was missing like a good 15 players. So I'll start with you, Fig. When you saw the game last night, what did you think? Fig?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can
Yeah,
you hear me? Okay. All right.
I can hear you.
I love the game last night. It was horrible on both ends. I would have liked to see a little more of my man RG3, you know what I mean, to see if he could have got better towards the end of the game, but they pulled him. I guess this is what happens during COVID when none of the teams can really practice. It's kind of hard to get up. Like you're getting up for a game on Sunday, then they tell you it's going to be on Monday. Then the game actually ends up being on a Wednesday. It's kind of, it's kind of hard to get up for that. You know what I mean? So it just seemed like a difficult game all the way around. The comedians know what I'm talking about. You know how when the hosts tell you that you on stage next, and then they keep putting people in front of you, and you every time you kind of lose that energy, like you ready to go, and then they don't let you get on stage, and they put you on at the last minute. It's kind of crazy. It's
great
like
analogy. That's a great analogy. Stevie, Rodney, what do you think?
Stevie.
Yeah, he was like Stevie Wonder. He's doing the Stevie Wonder over there.
I mean, Frank. First of all, I like to say that the season is over for Baltimore. They need to go and get some crab legs and chill. Roethlisberger obviously ate an extra cheeseburger this week, and he was off his game. But 10-0 nonetheless. Keep going. Go Pittsburgh.
Talent, you look like you was in an episode of NYPD Blue, man. What you think? You agree or you disagree? You had a whole lot of action running back there, man.
Almost missed this train, man. I went to the wrong side of the tracks.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
So sorry for making it look like first 48.
Yeah, exactly what it looks like.
I'll come back. I agree with everything he just said. I mean, he hit the nail on the head.
All right, so y'all ready to do the picks now? We want to do the picks real fast. We're going to go through it real fast because the time is moving. So we got Cleveland is playing at Tennessee. I don't think anybody's going to take Cleveland. You know what I mean? Anybody taking Cleveland? Let me know now. Yeah, I didn't think so.
Tennessee.
I take Cleveland. I take Cleveland. Forget it.
Rodney, you got Cleveland?
Yeah, my season is tanked anyway. I'm
The
going.
Raiders are taking the Jets. I don't think anybody's taking the Jets. Anybody taking the Jets? Yeah, I ain't think
The
so.
Raiders.
Thank you.
Raiders.
Yeah, Jacksonville is playing Minnesota Vikings. I'm gonna say Minnesota. Rodney, who you got?
Jacksonville. I'll say Minnesota.
Okay, Rodney, who you got? Jacksonville at Minnesota.
I got Minnesota.
Okay.
Minnesota.
Okay. Cincinnati Bengals are playing at Miami. I'm gonna take Miami. Talon, who you got?
I'm gonna take Miami.
Miami.
Rodney.
Who is it?
Cincinnati
at
and Miami.
I'm not ever betting with Cincinnati. Miami.
The Colts are playing Houston Texans. I'm taking the Colts. Rodney, who you taking?
Houston all day.
Colts.
Colts.
I'll go with the Colts. Who you got, Frank?
I got the Colts.
Colts. I mean,
Yeah.
no. You said Houston is going against the Colts, right?
I meant to say the Indianapolis Colts are playing Houston.
At Houston. They're playing at Houston too, right?
At Houston. Yeah.
And Houston is coming off a win.
Right. I got the Colts. Detroit Lions are playing Chicago Bears. I think Chicago's going to turn it around this week.
Me too. Chicago.
Hold on, brother.
Right.
Chicago should win. It's a rivalry game. They've been known to put hands on Detroit, and Detroit is equally as horrible as we are.
Yep.
Shot down, baby.
I got okay. So who you taking, Rodney?
I'm taking the Bears all day.
Okay.
Who you got, Frank?
He taking. I'm taking the Bears. I'm taking the Bears. I think we got to turn it around. New Orleans Saints playing Atlanta Falcons. Is anybody taking the Falcons? Everybody, New Orleans is going to beat the anybody.
Saints.
Saints. Anybody?
Saints.
Yeah.
Who's quarterback in the Saints?
It don't matter. They're playing the Falcons. It don't matter. You can quarterback.
It does matter because that's a rivalry game. I'm taking the Falcons just because y'all said otherwise.
Okay. Right.
Rodney took the Falcons against the Raiders, and the Falcons won.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the sun shines on the dog ass sometimes.
You know what? Let's put that down under Fig's old sayings.
The Giants are playing the Seahawks. I got the Seahawks. Rodney, who you got?
Oh man, them Giants been looking tough the last couple of weeks, man. But
I got the Giants.
You got the Giants talent?
Giants.
Them Giants been looking tough, man. But you got to take Russell against the Giants. You got to. Seahawks.
Yeah, you got to take Russell Westbrook, baby.
Man, I'm not doing it. I want the Giants to win, but I don't think they're going to against the Seahawks. I got the Seahawks.
LA Rams.
Daniel Jones ain't playing.
LA Rams is playing Arizona Cardinals. Rodney, who you got?
Rams, Cardinals.
Yeah.
Cardinals. And I don't know.
I got the Cardinals. I'm gonna say I got the Cardinals.
You got the Cardinals. That's the little guy. Yeah, I'll take the Cardinals.
I got the Rams.
Okay.
Cardinals.
The Patriots are playing the Chargers. You know who I'm taking all day, baby. All day. Patriots, and they playing in LA. Fig, who you got? You go first.
I got the Patriots because that's a young quarterback over there, and Bill Belichick beats them up all the time.
Yeah. Rodney.
Who quarterbacking for the
Chargers?
The Patriots this week?
Cam Newton.
Man, every time I say Cam gonna win, he lose. I'm gonna take the Chargers. Hell,
I'm gonna take the Patriots because I love America.
The Eagles are playing Green Bay. Philadelphia playing at Green Bay. I'm taking Green Bay all day.
Green Bay
all day.
Greenbacks.
Denver is playing at Kansas City. Is anybody taking Denver? Anybody? Even that's a rivalry game too. But
I got the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs might win by 21 in that one. Rodney, who you got?
Yeah, you got to take
Chiefs.
Monday night, you got the Washington team is playing at Pittsburgh. You know what? That could be a trap game right there because Pittsburgh look horrible. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna take Washington. I'm kidding. I'm gonna take Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
I think Pittsburgh. How about you?
I'll take Pittsburgh.
And Buffalo Bills is playing at San Francisco, which they're
Pittsburgh.
not playing at San Francisco. San Fran is not even playing at home. They 30 miles away because of the coronavirus. But Buffalo's playing at San Francisco. They don't have half their team. I'm taking Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Big, who you taking? You taking Buffalo, Rodney? Who you taking?
I take
Buffalo.
Who you taking? What you
Yeah,
taking?
Buffalo all day.
He got
Rodney,
Buffalo.
what you say?
I said
Okay.
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Okay, Dallas is playing at Baltimore.
Yeah, Buffalo.
Dallas Cowboys is playing the Baltimore Ravens. I'm gonna take the Cowboys, and I'm gonna say this: I think this game right here this week is gonna kick the Baltimore Ravens out the playoffs. Rodney Perry, who do you think? What you think?
I'm gonna take the Ravens.
Okay, Fig, who you think?
I'm gonna go with the Ravens too. I think the Ravens.
Okay, Fig, who you got?
I'll go with the Ravens.
All right, that's our
Who you
pick.
got? Who you got, Frank?
I said I'm taking Dallas. I'm taking Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm taking Dallas.
I think Dallas is better at being bad than the Ravens are.
Yeah, and I normally would agree with that and everything else, but the Ravens is going in the other direction. You know what I mean? So that's why one of my questions I was going to ask you, all y'all, is like, do you think the Ravens are even going to make the playoff? If they lose one more game, they out the playoffs. They can't lose no more game. They out the playoff. If they lose
That's
one
why they
more
gonna
game.
win.
I think they played horribly. I think they last night. So you know, it was last night, and they played Sunday or Monday.
They play Monday.
Yeah,
I'll
they
take
got
Baltimore.
yeah.
Baltimore.
Yeah, they
y'all
got-
want
they
the
got-
y'all
they
want
got a couple
the
days.
results from last week?
We need to have the
Go ahead.
result, man. We need to have the
Yo,
result.
Rodney, man, I don't care what you say, man. You got 11 wins last week, which is grand total of 84. Frank, you got 11 wins last week, grand total of 84. Talent got 12 wins last week for a grand total of 89. I got 11 last week for a total of 89. And that damn Stacks, who ain't showed up yet, had a total of 12 wins, and he has a grand total of 91.
We ain't gonna never hear the end of that. You know that,
Stacks
right?
keeps squeaking by, man. He keeps squeaking by.
Yeah, we ain't
I
gonna never
thought
hear
he
the
was out. Ain't he busy?
and
He's in Rikers.
He's in jail.
He's
See?
on Rikers Island.
He's filming Life 2 for real.
My last question of the day, I'm gonna throw this out there. We got 10 seconds each, and everybody else. I'm gonna just say this: Rodney Perry, do you think the Steelers gonna run the table, man?
No.
Okay, I don't think so either. Fig, you think Steelers gonna run the table?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Talent, you think Steelers gonna run the table?
I hope they don't, but I think it's a high possibility they will, given the little week ending of their schedule. I think they can.
Yeah, I think it's a possibility that they could run the table, and as soon as they get to the
You
playoffs,
talking about the regular season? They're not gonna go undefeated in the playoffs.
No.
no, I'm talking about running the table.
Regular season.
Yeah, regular season.
Oh, yeah.
I think in regular season because of what Tomlin said yesterday. He gave them a shit. Even though they won, he taught them a new one. You know what I mean? And I think they get their act together, man, because they played horribly and they still won. So I think they get their act together and they finish out strong.
Now, I said it might not be possible because yesterday during the game, I forgot the name of the guy, but they lost the leading edge tackler, you know, the guy who sacks the quarterback. They lost him yesterday to the torn ACL, you know, and he was the heart of their defense. They lost him yesterday. So I don't think they're going to run the table, man. I don't think they're going to run the table. But if they do, I think they had probably one of the first 16-0 teams that can go to the playoffs and then first game and then lose because they look horrible. Like I've never seen a team with the undefeated record play that bad. I've just never seen it. So, but it happens. Anyway, that's the show. So, Talent, you want to tell everybody how they can follow you? We'll be back tomorrow. Talent, how can we follow you? You want followers today or what? Talent sticking.
Yeah. Hey, go ahead, Vic.
You can follow your boy, Comedian Fig, all social media platforms. If you want to follow Talent, you're gonna have to get the Amtrak because
Oh no, I'm gonna get on the Wi-Fi in a minute, but y'all can follow me tomorrow, 1:00 on here. I won't be filming Life 2.
Rodney Perry.
Hey, I'm easy to find. Rodney Perry, the website. Rodney Perry Live is all social media, and this is the Box Seats.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
the
is,
Rock
boy.
People on every day, Monday through Friday. I'm Frank Holder. Monday through Friday from 1 to 2. We are on the channel called The Humor Mill. Download the app, tell a friend to tell a friend, call your cable service provider, and we're going to have some big news very, very shortly about where else you can find us. Can't wait to tell you all about that. That's talent. That's Fig. That's Roddy. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 1 o'clock. It's Friday. Take care. Talk to you.